Well, welcome back to the big board. Let's try and learn some of this stuff together. Looking at Ardennes II, which is a second edition of the original standard combat system from Multi-Man Publishing. Their original edition was Ardennes, funnily enough, and basically a new game, right? There's a whole swag of different rules here that make a difference, different maps, and certainly an updated order of battle and all sorts of good fun stuff like that. But already been a lot of questions online about some of the way, the manner in which Zoc bonds work and the way those movement points are counted. And I'm I was a little bit confused, but I think I've got it now. We'll see. And also barrage is very different as well. Typically a barrage in the SCS system would just give you a DG result, but here barrage effects, depending on if it's a half or a full effect, will well, in fact, it has to be a full effect to have any effect. What I'm trying to say here, a barrage marker effect table here gives you one barrage marker is going to reduce the attack ability and defend ability by half. Add 2 to the movement cost moving into adjacent to that hex. If you have 2 or more barrage markers, then it drops the attack and defend values down to a quarter each and adds 4 movement points to the cost of entering that hex, etc., etc. DGs, on the other hand, halve everything, right? Attack, defend, and move. And they're a result of other activities, and we'll get into that in a little bit in another video, I think. But I thought what we might do is take a look at some movement and some of these Zoc bonds and kind of see what happens from there, and also the impact of moving adjacent to an enemy unit, an enemy artillery unit in particular, because they have to basically bug out. And they've got to move, I think it's, let me just check here, at least 8 contiguous road hexes away from where the artillery began. And there's no pathway, you just pick it up and move it. Now, 8 road hexes. And it's interesting here that it says road hexes, right? So if I start, assuming I've started in the correct location, I'm on a track. I've got to move 8 road hexes. So if this guy actually did get here in one piece, from moving from over here, that would be the first hex. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3. How do we do this? That's curious. So let's worry about the artillery retreating in a minute. Let's just talk about these Zoc bonds and try and work through that. So this unit, when it moved up from here to here, it's just one movement point to enter well, it's actually half a movement point to enter that hex there, right? Because we're not doing any of the, what do they call it here? It's adjacently, I think is the term they used. Adjacently, I think it is. Let me just see. I think that's correct. So none of the traditional zone of control stuff applies for this particular module. So it's just 1 MP to move to there. Now, if I wanted to go from here to here, it'd be 1 MP plus another MP, because I'm moving from one zone of control to another, and the same would occur, assuming this unit had a zone of control. If I went from here to here, we would have the same, and this was clear, it'd be 2 MP, right? So plus 1, right? Now, let's just try, where's me tweezers? What did I do with them? Oh, I'm keeping a page open here. Let me do that. Get rid of this guy, get rid of this guy. And let's assume this chap here was had a zone of control, so this was here. If I want to move into this hex, it's 2 movement points. But for me to get from here to there, this creates a zone, a Zoc bond. So there's a Zoc post here and a Zoc post here. And for me to get to this hex, for this chap, once he got to here, 2 movement points, assuming this was clear and no river, he would be here, getting to that hex, busting through that Zoc bond, probably a poor choice of terminology, really, because everyone's thinking of Zoc bonds that are immutable and unbreakable in Simonitsch's games. But nevertheless, it's +4 movement points. It would be +4 to enter this hex and whatever the terrain cost was. That's how I believe it works. Now, we've got to deal with this artillery thing. I don't know how to do that. It says just pick it up and move it 8 hexes away. It says specifically at least 8 contiguous road hexes from where the artillery unit began. Ignore all Zoc bonds and enemy units along the route. Okay, so I could literally, let's do that. He said, putting the piece of plastic in his mouth, bad. I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, at least 8 it says. 8, 9, 10. So I can move this guy to here. Can I move it 12? Can I move it 15? Can I put it here? Oh, I went off screen. Okay. So this is 8 hexes roughly to here. So I can move it 1 or 2 more. Like, well, that's not a road hex, so I can't go there. But I could go here, or here, or here, or here, or here, or here, or here. That's what I'm unclear. So interesting. We're going to pause the video here. I may actually just post this up and see if we can't get some reaction comment from folks. I'm going to put a little marker on this guy. Let's see if we can do that with some sort of, let's put a little block, as in, we don't know what the hell we're doing with you. And we'll come back to it. I fired a barrage here. There's a combat results table that in the terrain effects chart. It says barrage success roll. The numbers in brackets give you a half barrage. The numbers out of the brackets give you a full barrage. And I'll show you, without losing my page here real quickly, you can see the results there. See, it says 4, 5, and then 6. That's for whatever terrain that is. I can't see it clearly. Slope, I guess. Is that right? Yeah, slope. So a 4 or a 5 will get me a half barrage. And I can then say, well, you know what? I might try another barrage and try again. Or I could just take my chances. And when you reconcile all the residual half barrages that are on the map at some point, which I don't know when, because we haven't got to that bit yet, and I don't recall it, you can roll a die, and that will help you determine whether you remove the half barrage marker or you convert it to a full barrage. So there you have it. And it's a 50-50 chance of that occurring. So we're going to keep plugging away. I think that's all I wanted to show you for the moment. I have probably muddied the waters more than I needed to for you. We will continue to move the FJs up, right? The Fallschirmjäger. I've set up Zoc bonds here so that this guy wants to move through here. It's going to be expensive, so that he won't be able to support anything in here, and nor will he be able to kind of get through here. Well, he can get through, but it's going to be expensive in terms of movement points. At least that's how I believe it works at the moment. So we'll see. All right, talk to all of you shortly.